You're listening to a Dell Studios production.
The City Obsidian, deserted and forbidden for over 100 years or more. In the eternal edifice of infinite steps. The steps were in truth finite, but there were an awful lot of them. It had taken the Corsair hour after weary hour to walk up them. Her parrot, the captain, on the other hand, was absolutely fine.
Should we here?
Don't get your feathers in a ruffle. We'll be fine. The place is abandoned.
Probably a reason for that.
I should honestly be flattered.
More like flattened. What did you think was going to happen? You set off an alarm in a forbidden city on a planet that's off limit. And that's the local security arriving to drag us outside and make us miserable. Now, let's get back to the Esperanza.
Not leaving yet. The job's not finished. The Hand of Omega isn't going to steal itself.
Whatever this Time Lord is paying you, it honestly isn't enough.
This particular Time Lord is going to pay me with the satisfaction of a job well done.
Is that it? An old trunk?
Yep. The Hand of Omega. Very important. Right! Back to the ship!
Not sure how we're going to carry that down several miles of stairs. And when I say we, I mean you. I won't actually be carrying anything. It's the wings, you see. They've not got the load-bearing capacity.
Oh, next time around. Or maybe the one after that. I want a body with muscles. Big and strapping and made for hauling stuff with one of those faces that people just trust.
Maybe we should just, leave the box here and leg it?
Ow!
I advise you to take a sensible course of action. They'll be here in a couple of minutes and then we're done for.
Have you got it yet?
I just can't move it. It's heavy. You didn't mention it was going to be heavy, or I would have brought movers. I'm thinking about just pushing it out of the window.
Oh, goodness gracious me, don't do that. Whatever are you thinking of? You could destroy the whole continent. Have you tried talking to it?
Talking to it?
Yes, it's sentient. You will certainly appreciate being a civilly young lady. And this costs nothing. But hurry up. We're running out of time.
We're Time Lords. We have all the time there is.
And there's no excuse for wasting it then, is there?
That's your client. He doesn't look the type. Too respectable to be the receiver of stolen goods.
Looks can be deceiving, especially when it comes to our customer. Oh, he's a bad boy, that one. He's about to steal a Type 40 TARDIS and run away. You won't believe the trouble he'll get into. Right, time to go! He's drunk. It worked!
Now what?
We run!
The Corsair ran down the dusty glass stairs as fast as she could, in a sort of controlled plummet. At the next landing, she stopped for a moment to catch her breath. The captain circled above her, and the trunk waited obediently by her side. Below them, a window shattered. She could hear shouted orders and the sound of many booted figures running up the stairs towards her. Seconds later, after a moment of pure brilliance, she pulled herself onto the trunk, which bobbed gently in the air.
Stop! Drop your weapons or we'll shoot!
We don't actually have any weapons, apart from the long-lost hand of Omega, which can rearrange the fabric of the universe with quite relative ease. But that's not the kind of weapon they're looking for, really. Get under my coat!
What?
No! Right, let's go home. Please, Trunk. I didn't think that would work! Oh!
You really aren't getting paid anything for this job?
No! Well, not exactly. I've already been paid. The doctor got me out of a rather sticky situation, and so I promised that I'd do a job for her in return.
So we're taking this thing to her then?
Of course not! We're taking it back to that fellow with the astrakan and the monocle that you saw up there, projecting his hologram thingy. He knows that he needs the Hand of Omega, doesn't quite know the reason, has no earthly idea why he has an overwhelming urge to take it to Earth and hide it there. But he expects he'll figure it out sooner or later.
Will he? Figure it out, I mean.
Yes, much later though. Then he'll use it to send a Starn over and incidentally start a time war. Not the time war, just a little one that'll get erased by the big one. And nobody will remember it anyway.
You remember it. You remember everything.
The snake swallows its tail, and we all start over where we begin.
As you say, but I failed to see how your tattoo has anything to do with... Stop this thing! Stop this thing, I say, or we're doomed!
No, stop heading for the floor! Stop heading for the floor! Stop heading for the...
But we just passed through the floor.
Oh, Hand of Omega, you are full of surprises.
Cool, I never thought I'd be so glad to see this boat. And just a thought. How did the Hand of Omega get to the City Obsidian in the first place?
Good point. We'll probably need to hide it there a few hundred years ago, although that means we'll have to steal it from Omega, Rassilon, and the other bloke first. Of course. That'll be interesting, although they've not met this body before. Might give me the element of surprise. Right, Trunk? You settle down by that hatch over there, and we'll be setting off in a moment. Captain, make yourself at home.
Oh, way ahead of you.
Did you miss me, dear? Right. Let's set sail.
There's nothing here.
Dr. Wayne. Call the Supreme Leader. Tell him that the fugitive escaped.
Sir, I think I found something.
What's this?
It's a feather.
Yes, I know that. Let's head back to the Supreme Leader's chambers.
And so they packed up and left the cold, dark cellar. They took the hyacinth blue feather back with them to the Supreme Leader, who sent images of it across the stars along with a message, pointing out that a healthy reward would be paid for information leading to the capture of the owner of said feather. The reward would not be collected for several years.
Supreme Leader,
Yes, soldier?
there's a man here to see you. It's about the feather, sir.
Then show him in.
Come in!
Your Excellency, I have solid information that will lead to the capture of both of your fugitives.
Well, my good man, we must pay you then.
Sir, are you sure about this?
Of course I'm sure. I'm an excellent judge of character. Besides, he has one of those faces that you just trust.
I should also require the feather, Your Excellency, to pay the trap.
But of course. Take this fine gentleman to the treasury. Give him his reward in full and access to the feather.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Good day.
Good day, kind sir.
Either the blue feather, reward, or the trustworthy man with the tattoo of the snake swallowing its tail on the inside of his left wrist were ever seen again. And nor, for that matter, were the entire contents of the inner treasure vault of the Imperial Treasury. But as the poet Byron once wrote, somewhat earlier, or if you are looking at the universe in an entirely different direction much later, for him they raised not the recording stone. His death yet dubious, his deeds too widely known, he left a Corsair's name to other times, linked with one virtue and 1,000 crimes.
You have been listening to One Virtue and 1,000 Crimes, written by Neil Gaiman, adapted by Rhys Dell. The Corsair was played by Alia E. Torrie, the Captain, Rhys Dell, the Narrator, Jules Starn, the Doctor, John Foreman, the Supreme Leader, Fraser Kelly, the Trustworthy Man, Sebastian Dinsmore. The soldiers were played by George White, James Wall, and Jules Starn. Director and editor was Rhys Dell. Music by Anthony Tremaine. Executively produced by Rhys Dell.